Hey everyone, it's Deja from knitandcrocheteverafter.com, and today I'm going to talk about this Alegria Grande from Manos del Uruguay that I received from Fairmount Fibers to review. I got this in the Acero colorway. I got to choose which colorway I wanted, and I absolutely loved the look of this. It just reminds me of like those pictures where you make it black and white but then you leave like a certain color in, and so this just kind of reminds me of that. It's got gray and white and this cool pretty turquoise color throughout. So I'm going to show you this worked up and caked up so you can see what you can do with it, because it is one of those kind of strange variegated where it's got that one color kind of on the end, but it looks really beautiful. Okay, let me tell you some cool facts about this yarn and kind of the content, because that's important. This is a 75% superwash merino, 25% polyamide. It is so squishy soft. Like, you can probably tell just from the video like how lofty it looks. It is so soft. I would use it for any kind of project because it is so soft. It's great against the skin. It's not a scratchy wool like a 100%, you know, straight up wool would be. It is worsted weight, so it's great for knit or crochet. It has 197 yards, which also makes it great for knit or crochet because that's enough yardage to really do a beanie with just one hank, get two and do a scarf. So it's got great yardage. So it's really good. You don't need a lot. You don't have to buy a ton of them to make a project. So it's very cost effective when it has such high yardage. Care instructions, very important for me because I really am not a fan of hand washing. You can actually machine wash this. So machine or hand wash, you'll dry flat, so don't stick it in the dryer, but it is very easy care in that fact that you don't have to only just hand wash. I would still do like a delicate rinse, of course, or delicate wash in the washing machine. I wouldn't stick it on, you know, bulky sheets or anything, but that's a great benefit. Another cool thing about Manos del Uruguay, so this was sent to me by Fairmount Fibers. They are the North American distributor for Manos del Uruguay, but this actually comes from Uruguay. And it's made by local artisans that are in a cooperative, and they sign each hank. And when you buy these, this goes towards supporting the family of that artisan. So it's very personal. You know, you get to see who made that hank, who dyed that hank. It's really a great feature of this yarn that you know that it's going towards something positive for somebody. It's really a helpful, good thing that you're doing when you buy this yarn. The link to get to the yarn is in the description. They do, for Fairmount Fibers, they only ship to the US and Canada, but I'm sure that you can find, if you are not in the US or Canada watching this, that you can look up Manos del Uruguay and find a local distributor, because it is part of the World Fair Trade Organization, so I'm sure that they ship all over the place. Okay, so all of that information's awesome, but I'm sure you want to know, what is this going to look like when it's worked up? So, variegated yarn can be very fussy. And so what I mean by that is that depending on how stuff is dyed, sometimes it can be a mess. How's it really going to look when I actually make a project with it? So when you're doing variegated yarn, you have to be careful with the stitch patterns. Really swatch and think about where the color is getting distributed, because certain stitch patterns just aren't going to look good. So I picked one, I made a beanie to show you, but I picked one that I thought that would show this off well. But let me show you this caked up first. Okay, so here it is caked up, and you can see that this little blue here gets dispersed all the way around the cake. So you get a really good distribution of color when you're actually going to use it. So it's not like this is all going to be in one spot and the rest of the project's going to be gray and white. This is distributed everywhere, but short color runs. So that is where you need to really swatch and think about the stitches that you're using when you have variegated yarn. Because of that short color run, it could get really muddled and funky quick. So definitely swatch if you are just starting with variegated yarn, and try different stitch patterns before you pick something. But let me show you what I made up. I made a beanie with this, and I chose a stitch pattern that showed off the blue really well. So let me show you. Okay, so here is the beanie that I made in this. And this stitch pattern and this pattern will be available if it's not already. I'll link it in the description if I do have it out already. But the stitches are using slip stitches. So it pulls the stitches up for a couple of rows. So you can see kind of in the background, there's some little smaller kind of purl stitches behind it. But these long slip stitches really bring out that blue and show it better than if I were to just do like some knit stitching where it would only last maybe a couple of stitches before it switched back to the gray or the white. So I really like this stitch pattern for variegated yarn. It gives it a chance for those colors that may not show up very much to kind of pop out from the rest of the colors. Again, you know, this is my personal preference to show off this variegated yarn. I highly recommend that you swatch and find a stitch pattern that you love that will show off the colors. They do have a ton of solid colors, and they have a ton of other variegated colors. So check out the website in the link below so that you can see all those color choices that they have, because they really have a lot. And this yarn is just so squishy soft. It is such a, it's like nice to work with, it's nice to wear, it's just really, really great. But that is the Alegria Grande from Manos de Uruguay. I'm Deja with knitandcrocheteverafter.com, and thank you for watching.